So how do you get from the point of feeling hopeless to back to yourself?
I realized that I was keeping myself in prison when all along I have the key that I can walk over anytime and unlock the door and walk out. And what I learned from cancer is how much I have to live for. Depression taught me how much I wanted to live. And this last week and a half of feeling like my old self, which I honestly, I'm not the same person before cancer. But this last week and a half, it felt like, okay, Erica's still in here somewhere.
Stay the same, 'cause you are the best thing that's ever happened to me.
I don't have breasts anymore. I have fake hair, thankfully, because I have like no natural hair because of chemo. My bones hurt a lot because I'm also old, but I think that's chemo. I don't have the same level of energy. There's a lot of things that like I can't remember things, you know. There's so much that chemo took from me, but I also got a lot of life, and I'm still alive. And I think this last week and a half, that all hit me. The reality that I'm still here just hit me like the last week and a half. Like everything I fought for to stay alive, everything that you fought for, that our babies fought for, the people who came around us fought for, I gotta live. Life is so short. And people say that all the time. You always hear that you're going to blink and then you're going to be 50 years from now wondering where time went. But you literally know now that in a split second, you could get a call and it'll change your life forever. And so this last week and a half, and maybe that's what I got back, was hope that everything is going to be okay, that God saved me and gave me more time because I had more to do, that I can feel sad for people whose cancer journeys haven't had as much hope as mine has, because that's honestly shattering. But I don't have to let the sorrow of them not getting the miracle or not getting the miracle yet take away from the fact that I'm still alive and that I have a story that I can give God glory with. I have babies that I can hold. I have a husband that I can see every day. And so I guess ultimately my answer is you realize that you have a choice, and you realize how you have the power to decide how long you stay in that prison. I mean, after the double mastectomy, I lost myself again. The depression started to return, and I was so nervous about that. And I wrote this book on depression that I've not yet put out there. But my mom would say, read your book. You need your own book right now. And I couldn't read it because I would say, well, depression's different from cancer. It's like depression, I felt like I could control when I learned it's powerless over me. But cancer didn't care. Cancer just does what it wants. And it's smart. It's like a being. But the truth is, whether it's depression, whether it's cancer, whether it's someone you love dying, whatever, the biggest heartbreak and disappointment, loss, fear, you have the power to overcome it. I survived every horrible day of chemo trying to kill me. That means that I could survive my worst days. Cancer was my biggest fear. And then when it came, suddenly it wasn't. I survived cancer. And hopefully for a very long time. None of us leaves this world alive. And I know that sounds so dumb, but it helps me to remember that at some point, my time here is up. And I want to make my days count. I want to look up and realize how free I am. I want to look back and realize that I didn't spend my days curled up, dying on a couch or in a bed, too afraid to do anything.
Take us back to the couch.
Oh, the couch.
Because people like somebody may be on the couch right now and just feeling all of those things like, this is never going to get better. This is just what it is. And what's cool is you were probably there too. This is not going to get better. This is just what it is.
Oh,
but the beautiful thing
there.
is you can look a year beyond it now, right? You can look back in the moment, being a year out, having a week of pure tenacity, of pure I'm back in it, going to get after it. I will not be stopped. You had that kind of energy this week. It was kind of annoying, but it was.
Y'all, this man wanted me off that couch so bad. And now look at him, tells me I'm being annoying.
No, I mean in the best possible way. But but if there's a person on the couch right now who's just feeling that level of hopelessness, of grief, of sorrow, of I don't even know if God's got me right now. What would be the encouragement that you would give that person?
Well, the couch felt safe. People don't understand. I don't know. I know the couch couldn't save me, okay? If I was going to die, I was going to die on the couch. It felt like this little small safe haven. Like if I just stayed there, nothing could touch me. Nothing bad could happen again. Or nothing bad could happen again. Or I had more control over my circumstances. So I understand why people just want to stay in bed or on their comfy couch, whatever it is. But Eric would come sit near me for a little bit. He did stop coming to sit near me for a little bit because he said I was like a dark cloud. But that's okay because then my friend Christy came and my mom sat with me and I literally told them the same sad story over and over again. I would take my phone and I'd be like, looking on Instagram, this lady died and she had 4 kids and God didn't save her and so God's going to let me die. And I would find story after story that just like told a narrative in my head.
Like, because you had just gotten out of cancer and so now it was, now it's going to come back.
Now it's going to come back. I did all of that. They chemo through my body. They took my breasts, like all of it just for it to come back and kill me. That felt hard. And so the couch was like, I logged like 11 to 16 hours on the couch. They gave me walking exercises. I didn't really do those. I just wanted to be on the couch. They wanted me to eat. I would have a handful of blueberries because I eventually got on some antidepressants pretty immediately. Shout out to Rush, the doctors at Rush, because they were on top of my mind wellness, you guys. Like, they weren't messing around, and I knew enough because of depression, like, just get on the meds to get the help. It doesn't have to be forever. But I would take my handful of blueberries to take the medication, and that was it. I lost 20 pounds in, like, the month because I was just not eating. I have since gained it back in some. But the point being, like, I was listening to all of these horror stories, and then I was turning them into my future. Stay off of this thing when you're not in a good place, because the algorithm is going to bring you your worst fears. It's going to bring you the horror stories. It's going to bring you the defeats. And that dark cloud that's like trying to hover and suck you up it's going to grow bigger and bigger and bigger, and the lies are going to grow bigger and bigger, and the enemy, Satan, is just attacking every ounce of hope you have, because if he can get you down further into the darkness, he's going to pull.
Now, I hear what you said, and that's all true. It's great. But a lot of people told you to get off your phone. A lot of people told you to stop scrolling, and you listened to 0 of them.
Shout out to all my people.
I remember getting a text from your friends who were like, "What? Can you just take her phone away from her?"
The goodies, yes.
And I was like, I'm not, because there was another aspect of it from my perspective. Knowing who you are, knowing your faith, knowing your trust in God, that sometimes people have to go all the way down to the bottom of the barrel. You had to go down like the prodigal son that goes into the pig pen before he's like, okay, I can't get any lower. I gotta just look to God. And I was just like, she's gonna get to the end of this scrolling, and
but you had to realize that you couldn't save me.
There's nothing I could do.
And I kept saying to you,
but let's say you just told people to do something that you were told to do, and you didn't listen to them. So why would these people listen to you?
Sure, you had to get to a point to where, and I said to you, leave me alone. Basically, I got to go through what I got to go through, right?
I think I said I'm gonna leave you alone.
Right.
I came to the point of saying, Lord, I'm just getting in the way. She's got to ultimately deal with you.
Yes, but I also knew that I needed to go through these feelings. I needed to ride this wave out. I also learned that I felt like with the depression book, I was like, I'm a fraud. I can't write a book on depression because I'm sitting here on the couch feeling depressed. And I learned in that moment that it's okay if feelings of depression come back. It doesn't mean that that's who I am. It's not going to overtake me. I was actually thankful for all those years of depression, because this felt like preparation to weather this storm that I was going to be riding. And that's what I would say to someone in this situation. If you're on the couch and completely hopeless, you can lay there as long as you want. And you got to feel what you got to feel, right? Mm-hmm. But at some point, our new thing, you got to rise anyway. And I think that for me was when I got to a point of realizing I didn't come through all of this just to die here. I have to rise anyway.
Tell me, what does that mean to you? Rise anyway. You said it twice. So rise anyway.
Life is really hard. And sometimes it feels completely unfair. And you may have been dealt a really horrible hand. But if you get knocked down, when you get knocked down, because you're going to get knocked down, you can't stay there. You have to rise anyway. You have to get up. I don't need you to pull yourself up by the bootstraps, because sometimes that's impossible. But you have to learn to do the next right thing, do the healthy thing, because it will be the thing that will ultimately save your life and give you the abundant life that God promises, that he wants for you to have. So if you find yourself on the couch.
Well, and if I could break that down too a little bit, because I think that you touched on some things, and even as you're talking, I was like, yes, rise anyway. You think about the power that we have as God's people. Mm-hmm. Even in Deuteronomy, where God literally goes out of his way to be like, look, you are not, there's nothing good, there was nothing about you except for your weakness that I chose you, right? You are the smallest, you are the weakest, and that's why I chose you, because by my power, you are going to rise anyway.
Yeah.
My power is made perfect in your weakness. That when the Israelites were literally slaves of the Egyptians, they rose anyway.
Yeah.
They plundered the Egyptians without ever lifting up a sword.
Yeah.
The Egyptians were like, here, take all our gold. And the Israelites walked out of Egypt a rich and powerful nation because of the power of God. They had God on their side. You think of who we are as people, broken, fallen, spiritually with nothing.
Yeah.
We're bankrupt. We have zero to offer God. Yet, by his power, we rise anyway.
Right.
It's that grace that's inside of Rise Anyway that empowers a person in their lowest moment to recall and count on the God who is merciful, who loves us, who in his strength we will mount up on wings like eagles. Like I feel like there's a song right there.
Well, and isn't that the most beautiful thing? The eagle, it glides. It goes with the wind. It doesn't have to like the other birds. It's not flapping repeatedly.
Yeah.
It's coasting.
Yeah.
Like that's what we get to do in the power of God is we get to coast against the toughest wind if we rest in him. And I think that whole idea of rise anyway is you can because God enables you to. I couldn't get off that couch in my own strength. I mean, honestly, I was like, well, if the cancer's just going to come back, then I'm just going to lay here and die. Why get hopeful? Why try to be a good mom? Why try to be a good wife if the cancer's just going to eat me all up? And I didn't want to do chemo again. It was hard. It was really hard. But it was one lady saying to me who had just finished her cancer journey 2 years ago. She said to me, start by serving your family. And that I was like, wait, I can do that. Wait, is that the next right thing? I can do the next right thing. So I began with serving my family, focusing on them. And that was like the snowball, okay, of what's the next right thing? You got to start to get back to work. Oh, okay, I can do that. I couldn't become this whole person at one time. But in that moment of someone who had gone through the valley and was now walking toward the mountaintop, she left me a trail. She left me a footprint that I could step in. And then she gave me another one. And then someone else, and I could see a path forward. And that's why I think it's so important that you tell the story God's letting you write, remembering that he's the ultimate author. And when you give God that power and he gives you that voice to tell your story, you tell it and you give that glory back to him. And I remember someone saying to me, your praise, there's victory in your praise. There's victory in your praise. I'm like, what does that mean? What does that mean? But I find now when I start to get afraid of the cancer coming back, when I start to wonder, okay, how many days do I actually have left with my kids? I go back to that there's victory in your praise, and I go back to giving God the praise and giving God the glory, because Satan will try to make me go back into that valley, into that moment on the couch, and feel that defeat and that sorrow again, so that I'm not giving God the praise of like, thank you for healing me. I believe you healed me. I believe I get to be here for longer. You are sovereign. You are in control. You are a good God. You are loving. You are for me. And if you are for me, then nothing can be against me. And that's the hope that I ultimately have. And I think about the Israelites and they're in the wilderness and traveling, and I don't have to keep traveling in the wilderness. I can do that, and I'm just going to die there. Right? But I got a God who leads me out of the wilderness. And that's the hope that I have. And so this last week and a half, man, it's felt good. I mean, the bones still hurt. I still don't have any hair. But I have a God who loves me. I have a family that I get to love and who loves me back. I have friends who still are walking with me through healing. And that's hope. Every day that I have hope, I feel alive and I feel free and I feel like I can do just about anything. And if I cannot sound proud, I'm really proud of myself. Because it's hard. It's really hard to find normalcy after cancer, because I don't think that exists. But there's a lot of hope.
And you see the world a different way, because when you conquer something so scary and big, especially if it's in your, that thing looks scary and big in your front window, and then you conquer it, and then it looks pretty tiny in your rearview mirror. You know what I mean? You're like, it's this big thing, cancer. Oh, I'll never be able to conquer it. It's too big. You're looking at it through your front window, and then you drive through and you get over the top of it, and then you look in the rearview mirror and you're like, oh man, that's actually pretty tiny.
Yeah, I mean, I still never want to have cancer again, but
oh well, no, for
sure.
But
when I got the news that
because
I had
you have
cancer,
a new scary thing, which is cancer a second time, right? And
new fear unlocked. Right? Yeah, but I'm on this side. I pray for a lifetime, and I think what I am watching is some of those women who I met in the start of my cancer journey who helped me. They have had their cancer return, and it's hard watching them lose their hair again and sit in the room for chemo again. But I just have to pray for them and hope for them, especially if their hope is low. And I know that my story is not their story, but God loves them too. And my hope is always for healing for them. And I'm trying to be very careful to not doomsday scroll in those moments. And if I see things on my feed that I know can bring me down, I just swipe away. So you asked, because I wouldn't have listened to myself. I didn't listen to anyone. Why should someone listen to me? I guess just to know that you have hope, that if God did it for me, he can do it for you. And life is really short. It is. Don't spend it on the couch. Don't die on the couch. Don't die on the beanbag, whatever you're sitting on. If you're there for more than an ungodly amount of time, get your butt up and go do the next right thing. If it's just a shower, if it's to comb your hair, to change your underwear. I'm not going to lie, you guys. I forgot to change my underwear sometimes. And my friends were like, girl, get up and go change your underwear. And that should be a daily thing. I did. I appreciate friends who are just going to shoot it with you straight. So if you need that reminder, get up and go change your underwear. Like now. And then tomorrow, go eat something that's going to nourish your body, even if it's small. And then the next day, call a friend and say, hey, I don't need you to talk to me, but I just need someone to sit with me. And then the next day, get outside and go for a walk. And I had a friend who went through my phone, shout out to one of my besties, and she programmed every hour for me to do something in my phone, a reminder. It was annoying. I turned them all off. But I still have those reminders in my phone as she programmed them. And I just think of all the people. What I learned from depression is like, don't fight alone. That even though I didn't listen to you, and even though I turned those reminders off, and even though they wanted you to take my phone away and I wouldn't let you, I knew that I needed to let people know. Like you kept saying to me, why do you keep telling people the same story about how bad you're doing over and over again? Because depression taught me, don't suffer in silence. Tell someone. And because I told those people, I think I got off the couch faster, because there were people constantly checking on me. The army swarming heaven still for me. they weren't letting me fight alone. And they held hope for me. Do you know how much hope was in my heart when, Katie says to me, I believe God's healed you and you're going to be the one who tells your story, 20 years from now. I got off the couch because I didn't have to fight alone. And so I just hope whoever needs this video now, you could reach out to me. I'll be part of your army. If you need someone to remind you that you don't fight alone. There's a God who loves you and who's here for you. And what he did for me, he can do for you. I believe that with my whole heart. And as long as you have hope, right? That was it. It was like Satan was trying to take my hope. And I feel like I got the full force of my hope in the Lord back this week and a half. And as long as I have that, I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. I believe that with my whole heart.
You kept me every time I mess it up, and everybody says that things are bound to change, but I hope they stay the same, 'cause you are the best thing that's ever happened to me.